What's up, witches? It's the Zen Witch here with another unboxing and having very strange issues with the formatting of my cameras. I had it for a while where it was like this very big, bigger window than you see here, and I can't get it back no matter how many times I change the format. So now we have a more square thing, and do you care? I'm sure you don't. Today is an exciting day because I got a giftie today, and oh Lord, and it is a true Yule haul, a holiday haul. Look at this. This is from my wonderful, delicious, beloved benefactor, Annette, from Sun to Shine Astrology, and she sent me two, the Tarot Grand Luxe and the Quantum Oracle. So I'm only doing one at a time, but I'm going to shoot these back to back so that you can get them back to back. Starting with the Tarot Grand Luxe by Ciro Marchetti. This is the same artist that did the Legacy of the Divine Tarot, which I was not that crazy about. I mean, the images are glorious. The artwork is incredible. But that deck had this whole, like, frickin' novel that went with it. And, oh, crap. It's one of those things where it just was too much. There was this whole story to read and this whole fantasy thing before you got to the cards. And then the cards themselves had like 4 different people giving their impression of what they meant. And it was just a little too much for me as far as, ease of use in tarot. Now, having said that, I want to say that I have the utmost respect and admiration for any artist that pursues their vision to the point that Ciro Marchetti has, and writes this whole story about it, and just did this incredible thing. And I have a great deal of respect for him, and my charcoal still didn't light. Just seems like everything takes a little bit more effort right now. Okay, come on, light. I think it's lit. I'm breaking my charcoals into quarters now because I'm almost out. All right. Here we go. Tarot Grand Luxe by Ciro Marchetti. This is U.S. Games. And they still have this wonderful way of doing their decks, the item number, TGL78. That's Tarot Grand Luxe, 78 cards. I love it. Popular digital artist Ciro Marchetti has crafted the evocative Tarot Grand Luxe out of his own creative imaginings. Based primarily on the Rider-Waite-Smith TM Tarot system, the lavish details in Tarot Grand Luxe also incorporate references to the Tarot de Marseille as well as other historic symbols and archetypes. In the 56-page illustrated booklet, Ciro briefly describes the ideas and personal perspectives that inspired each card. This is copyright 2019, so not that old. And the Tarot de Marseille, this is one I don't have any Marseille decks that I'm aware of. And I want to learn a little bit more. So here's right off the bat. Look. Diversity. Lovely to see. And here are the backs. We've got jesters. And clearly, these are not directional. Ooh, one thing I'm noticing here is just the smoothness of this deck. I mean, these cards are absolutely identically cut and quality. That's high quality. All right. Let's start off with the Fool. So as with the Legacy of the Divine, Ciro Marchetti's artwork is rich. The colors are rich. They say, digital artist, so he makes these digitally, but he's certainly a painter. Look at this. Look at the shading. It's just beautiful images. So we have kind of the standard Fool in his gestures thing, hopping off Doesn't really look like he's going off the edge of a cliff, but he's bouncing off on his adventure. And then we have a close-up image of him with his staff. Then we have the magician. Ooh. So he's got all of his tools and things, and the symbols of the elements. I don't know what those two symbols are, and I would like to know. I wonder if they tell us. I doubt it, but I wonder. Academic files, instruments, artifacts, alchemical and scientific realm. It doesn't say. Very short meanings in the book, but there's the magician, and here's the high priestess with her triple moon and her owl and the two pillars. And again, oh, look at the empress. Oh, look at all the animals and her baby in the body of a tree. That's beautiful. And then look at the emperor. Contrast these two. The wildness of nature and the abundance of the natural world. And then we step into the emperor's realm, where it's all about the mind and the decisions being handed down. What does it say? Auctoritas non veritas facit legem. Are they going to tell us what that means? Authority, not truth, makes law. Okay, so authority, not truth, makes law. I mean, it makes sense, because what's truth? Wow, so there's authority, and he's got this bundle of sticks in his hand, and that looks like a blade. I'm not sure. All right. Hierophant. These have a smell to them, and it's very pleasant. It's almost like oatmeal paste. Hierophant. So he's, those look like the pillars from, is it St. Peter's? And it's just him under that archway. Then the lovers. Look at the cranes dancing. Isn't that beautiful? The chariot, certainly motion. Ra. Strength. Oh, look at her. Look at the determination. These are beautiful images. There's the hermit. He likes close-up images, so he sacrifices like some detail that could be added there for just the close-up faces, and I do appreciate what I can see on those faces. Now, here's the wheel. We've got the moon phases. We've got the lion. Okay, so usually we've got the 4 fixed signs. And we have 1 through 12 that way, and then we have 1 through 12 coming up the sides this way. We've got the lion there. And at the bottom we have CM, so one assumes that's Ciro Marchetti, and a monkey, and a... What the fuck is that? It looks like a... Oh. It's a rabbit. A rabbit! Okay, so usually we have a lion, a bull, an eagle, and a human. But we have a lion and Ciro Marchetti and a monkey and a rabbit. Alrighty then. And then we have Justice. Oh. She's got the blindfold and a sword and a feather and the scales. They're absolutely beautiful. Hanging Man. I like that it's hanging man and not hanged man. Hanged implies somebody else did it. Hanging takes that away. Death. Look at that. We've got 2 symbols of Pluto. And we have Ciro Marchetti, a CM at the top. Again, two symbols of Pluto. In the crows, are those Hugin and Moonin? So he does insert himself in. We have a bit of an ego, which we could certainly feel in the Legacy of the Divine deck as well. Here's Temperance. Look at that. Beautiful. The Devil. Oh. His artwork is just incredible. I can't remember what that symbol is for. There's a CM again. And the man and the woman. They've got antlers. Okay. The Tower. Crash, boom, bang, the Star. The Moon. Look at how the dog and the wolf are chained. I don't think you usually see that with the Moon. The Sun. Ooh, now there's a departure. Very Egyptian, but also kind of Mesoamerican. Judgment. Angel blowing the trump. That's beautiful. And the World. So here we have the angel, the eagle, the lion, and the bull. Standard. All right. Itchy elbow. Okay. Ace of Swords. And there's the eagle indicating that these are air. The two, look at the blindfold. It's just kind of looking like through something so you don't see clearly. I really like that. That gives the vibe of this is how I'm choosing to see things. I'm blinded because of how I'm choosing to see things. Very interesting. Three of Swords. The Four. We've got a knight sort of rampant there. The Five. Gotcha. See, that's very clear. That to me says, gotcha. Time to surrender. The Six. Moving forward into the unknown. This, yeah, wow. I mean, these really vibe. There's the Thief. The Eight. She's got her hands bound, but there's this light radiating out. The Nine of Swords. Definitely duck and cover from the things. And there's, see, I mean, I'm assuming there's a CM in every one of these. I just haven't looked. There is. Look, there's the CM right there. So we do get a naked dude. You get a bit of a butt. The Ten of Swords. There's the Page with parakeets and a blue jay. And the Knight. It says KN. PKN. Q. And K. With his falcon. Then we have the Ace of Cups. Oh, looky, looky, looky. Just, I am very attracted to his images. And look at this simple, beautiful statement here. And we have the Three of Cups, the Four. What I see when I look at this card is what might have been. Kind of this regret of, you know, here's what is, but what might have been. You know, that's that disappointment and dissatisfaction. And now this is regret. This is true regret. And then we've got the Six of Cups, wee childhood. The Seven. Yeah, no, that's not what I want. The 9, wish card. Come on, pop in. And the 10. Oh, look at the kitty. Contentment. Page. Knight. Queen. And King. Then we have the Ace of Wands. Oh, look at the dragon. The 2. The 2, it looks like a gate. It is a gate. It's a gate opening up. And then we see something coming back. I really do love this deck. Very easy to get an intuitive reading from this, particularly if you have a background. But there's the 5 of Wands, the 6, the Victory card. There's the Laurel Wreath, the 7. Look at that. They're flying right at you. The 9. Kind of starting to crumble under the pressure, but still holding the line. And then we've got, yeah, it's all too much. Achievement to the point where it's overtaken you. The Page, the Knight, his dragons, the Queen, hello, and the King. Then we have Pentacles, or coins, with the Stag, the 2, yep, juggling on a tightrope, the 3, the 4. Can you hear my stomach growling? Because it's noon and I haven't eaten yet. The 5. Okay, look at this hand sticking out, but the hand is like, give me. And then this is a hand weighing things out. So this one, like, there's money, but it's got the hand out like wanting to take. And this one shows weighing things out and balancing. That's a little different. The 7. Okay, great abundant harvest that she's looking very happy about, so that's a little different too. The 8, studying. The 9, and the 10, hoarding away. And the Page, the Knight with a bear, the Queen with a rabbit and a fox, and the King as a wolf and a stag. Ugh, 2 of my big ones. All right. Let's get this shuffled up. We ask our allies and ancestors, guides and guardians, my gang, to come be with me. Come be with me and speak through this wonderful tool. In honor of Ciro Marchetti, the amazing artist. He really is a beautiful artist. They're a little stiff. Because it's U.S. games, I feel like it's one of those decks that will loosen up over time. All right. That's all I can do. It hurts my shoulder. All right. Let's get some Fire of Azrael on here. And offer fresh water and the fire of Azrael to this deck and to my ancestors and to my guides and guardians. Oh, my gang, thank you so much for being with me. Let's have a good message from this deck today, huh? For Annette and for everybody that's watching and listening. Oh, looky. Something Pi was playing with. What can we do today? What do we need to know? What do we need to hear in order to break the stagnation, in order to move from surviving into thriving? That you want to come out. And there's a couple more. There's a whole bunch more. All right, we're going to put these here, and we're going to put you here, because that's the way you landed. All right, let's see here. Tarot Grand Luxe by Ciro Marchetti. Tarot Grand Luxe is my latest deck project. The special edition was self-published and geared principally to collectors. I made the assumption that anyone reading the accompanying booklet is already reasonably familiar with Tarot, and specifically with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck upon which the images of this project are, for the most part, based. So I felt it would be somewhat redundant to provide yet another companion book or document that explains the historical content and meaning behind each image of every card. Many cards of this deck are in familiar enough territory relative to the RWS that I don't think further explanation is necessary. Nevertheless, since in some cases I've deviated to some degree from those traditional core images, I prepared this booklet as a brief summary to offer some insight into my personal ideas and objectives. Depending on the card, this may constitute a few lines, in others merely a summary of keywords. I would emphasize, however, that these are only my personal ideas and views, and ones with which you may not always concur, but should that be the case, hopefully the images themselves will still offer a flexibility of interpretation that you can work with. Okay, so it's funny that with the Legacy of the Divine, we had like overkill of information, like 4 different people checking in and saying, here's what this means to me, here's what this means to me, here's the traditional meaning, and then he wrote this whole novel. And now we get to this one, and he's like, I don't even want to write the meanings because you should already know what they mean. So Ciro, I would love to see his chart. I would love to see his chart because I feel like he's Plutonian. He's either or. All right. So he's talking about the foundations of Pamela Coleman Smith, and the Tarot of Marseille, and the choices that he's made. So now he's going really on and on about the choices that he's made and his technique, his artistic technique. And then we go into the majors. So if you look at the Fool card, we get a whole page here. Magician, High Priestess, we get very little. All right. So we have all the cards, and then we have the minors, and same thing with them, varying lengths of descriptions. So it seems like when he's deviated in a way that is significant for him, he tells us about it. And then we go to the end of the coins, and that's it. There's absolutely nothing about using the deck. There's absolutely nothing about doing a reading. There are no suggested layouts. That's that. So again, we go from a ridiculous amount of information to hardly any at all. Oh. All right. So that one came upside down. We've got 6 cards, so I'm going to take them in the triplets here. And I think this one was the one that came this way, but we'll put it reversed. So we have the King of Wands, we have the 4 of Coins, and the World. So the King of Wands is the creator, the one who is a master of his own creative process, his creative ideas, and we've got him upside down. So we're talking about feeling very stuck right now and not feeling an abundance of creativity. You know, the other thing I'm noticing in this book is we don't have reverse meanings. And neither does he say anything about reverses, I think. All right, hold on. Let's go back to his... you're talking about the earlier decks. As a designer, it's a dilemma, and he goes on and on and on without paragraphs. This whole thing is all one paragraph. The poodle in the cloud. All right. People have often attributed meaning to some feature, even negative space, that may coincidentally resemble some other form. While it would be tempting in such cases to take credit for such clever visual play and claim it to have been deliberate, I can't in all honesty do so. I refer to this phenomenon as the poodle in the cloud. What is fundamentally a random shape, once pointed out as resembling the form of a poodle, can often elicit an "I see it now" response from viewers. Okay. All right, so he's talking about the images again. He goes on about himself a lot. We have no reverse meanings. King of Wands. The charismatic King of Wands has a commanding presence, and he is a man of great conviction. He rules his realm with original ideas and creative strategies. He knows exactly how to direct his power to get the desired results. So we have him reversed. So we're not directing our power towards results right now. We're having issues. And boy, I'm feeling very called out on this because dealing with depression on a daily basis and just the lack of creative energy to want to do things and create things, and holiday spirit is just not quite there. So I'm in this place of here's where I'm at. Here's where I'm at. I'm not going to try to make things happen the way they are not happening right now. It's sort of that Buddhist thing of abandon hope of fruition. You can do the things that help you, meditation and prayer and stuff like that, but then you just abandon hope of fruition, that this is just the way it is. I'm not going to wait for it to change. I'm just going to be here. Okay, so we've got that, and then we've got the Four of Coins. So here's where we're acknowledging the financial pinch that so many are feeling. I was trying to imagine the other day what it must be like to be in a family that's having a normal feeling Christmas. Is anybody doing that? I mean, I imagine that if you have a nuclear family with small children and, your holiday is centered on them, that you might probably be able to have the same thing, particularly if people are still working and incomes haven't been impacted and all that. There have to be people that are having a normal time. Maybe they're shopping more online than in the stores. But then there are people that are doing it normally, irresponsibly. My son and I went out looking at lights last night, and we drove past this one wine place, and the place was full. And I mean, table after table full of people. Those tables were not 6 feet apart by a long stretch. They were just normally set up. The whole place was full of people, not a mask in sight. And that makes me even more depressed, So anyway, Four of Coins, talking about things not quite being loose money-wise. In this seaport, we see a merchant and his valuable goods on display, presumably collected from his latest voyage. He is holding one coin close to his chest, but more out of caution than hoarding. Rather than personal possessions, these items represent his inventory, his business, commodities to be sold or traded at the right price. So this is really just talking about holding on to things and valuing things, making, putting a very distinct value on things. And then we have the World. So with him, I'm thinking, that there's an assessment going on about what is really valuable right now. What feels really valuable to me? And at the time that I'm shooting this, we're talking about pandemic Christmas, and a lot of people are realizing that what's really valuable is the time they spend together that we're not able to do. That's certainly what my family's dealing with right now, is just that, to be able to get together and eat, we can't do that. So the assessment of value here. And the World card says, signifies the integration of elements, the coming together of parts to form a whole. This card shows a galactic nebula. The stars coalesce to form the traditionally depicted shape of the yoni, which, along with the golden earthly sphere, serendipitously depicts an eye when the card is viewed on its side. The four evangelist figures, lion, bull, cherub, eagle, depicted in each corner correspond to the four fixed signs of the zodiac. Okay, so that's what's in the image. The world image itself talks about something, the phrase that I just got is reaping what we've sown, is that the world card talks about here's the reality that we've harvested from all of our potentials, the Fool being all potential and the world being all manifestation. Here's the reality that that potential has manifested into. So So, I'm getting this vibe of kind of dealing with reality here and then just looking at what is available to us within that reality, while we're not able to recreate, things in our own image the way we want it. We don't have the resources, but using all the resources that we do have in order to deal with our current reality, whatever it may be. And now we have the Hanged Man, and I love that we have a good spread. I mean, we've got majors, we've got court, we've got minors, and we've got reverses, and we've got ace. So we've got a little bit of everything here. I like that. All right, then we have the Hanging Man. The colorful decorative leggings might suggest that the man hanging in this card is none other than our Fool. If you discount the Fool card number to 0, then the Hanging Man card 12 can be seen as the halfway point along the Fool's journey through the major arcana. The idea of the Hanged Man has evolved from a medieval form of punishment to come to mean a form of voluntary, if uncomfortable, meditative pause. From this inverted position, he can contemplate his circumstances, his past and possible future from a different perspective. The red thorns are a token reference to the Marseille rendition of this card. Where are the red thorns? There they are. Okay. So, yes, an uncomfortable pause, an uncomfortable meditative pause. So we're pausing in order to really deal with the discomfort of our situation and look at how we can, if you look at him here, dynamically moving in this uncomfortable pose that he's in. How can we dance the circumstances that we're in? How can we flow in the discomfort that we're in? So it's kind of like, rather than just hanging there, how can we own the position that we're in and inhabit it and move through it, is what I'm getting there. Then we have the Ace of Swords. And he says here, a general treatment has been applied to all aces and court cards, namely in each case there's an overall scene of their elements, which in this deck are, and he tells you the elements, the composition of each court card consists of the main character, along with a variety of creatures that share the corresponding environment. The symbolism in the cards was intended to complement the traits, gender, and general role of the main characters. Okay. Ace of Swords leads us into the suit of the intellect and mental forces. The Ace of Swords brings clarity and truth. Swords are associated with the element air, so here and throughout the court cards we're visited by magnificent birds of the air. All right. So this is saying to really, that we're in this place of really now being insightful and looking into our situation intellectually, really looking at it kind of beginning to get a new idea of it, beginning to get a grasp of the situation and how we can be empowered in it, how we can empower ourselves in our situation, which clearly is a situation that we don't have a lot of choice about. And then we have the Eight of Wands reversed. So we're talking about moving forward quickly, but it's reversed. And this one actually came this way. So it wasn't reversed, it was sideways. So this gives us a choice here. Eight of Wands represents putting ideas into action. This involves consolidated initiative, activity, and effort. As compared to the lateral perspective, in the Rider-Waite-Smith. So lateral with the wands going this way. And look at how it turned itself laterally. Oh my God. I've used a more dramatic front view of the wands to indicate their flight and to emphasize the idea of motion. And the idea of it coming at you, you know? So this is, I guess, the choice is it coming at you or are you sending it out? You know, which way are things going right now? There's this, when we finally begin intellectually to say, okay, see the truth of and accept the truth of our position and what we're in and what parts of it we don't have a choice about and what parts of it we do have a choice about. This is your sphere of influence. Your sphere of influence shows you what you can do something about and what you can't. And that's the Hanged Man, is what we have to accept and what we can change. And the Ace of Swords says, and we begin to be truthful and honest with ourselves about exactly what that is and what that means. And then the Eight of Wands says, now we decide whether, with the truth of where we are, is it time for me to receive, to be in a receptive mode and acceptance mode of here's where things are at, and then there's this pause before we get active, or are we in that place where we are actively going to put out? This kind of flies in the face of the Hanged Man, so it makes sense that it's upside down. And if I just put it upside down, it says now is not the time to be creating all kinds of new things, that we really do need to just sort of hang in this pause of here's where I'm at, rather than push, push, push. I do want to do some videos about Yule, but where we're at right now, we have our tree up and lit, but I have not put any ornaments on it. And Pi is being very good after one day of being very wet. He's being very good. But I don't know how much is going to get put on the tree ornament-wise, just because I just don't feel it. You know, I don't have it. And every year we put lights on the tree and go, oh, wouldn't it be beautiful if we just left it that way? We may just leave it that way this year. We may not. I don't know. So that's what we're talking about here. We're depicting this pause. And they're telling me take another one off the top. Victory! Victory! So when we allow ourselves to be in the pause, we allow ourselves to be in the nothing's moving ahead right now. I'm just sort of hanging here and looking at things clearly. When we allow ourselves to be there, then we have victory. And let's read that one too. Why not? Why not? The Six of Wands. Past conflicts are now over. There is a victor, and he is now recognized as such, both by his followers and by defeated foes, who are represented by the row of wands in the foreground. Their rigid alignment forms a symbolic formal guard of honor. All right, so it's just victory. We win. All right. I hope you got a lot out of that. I sure did. This is a beautiful deck. Thank you, Annette. Thank you, my darling. Thank you so, so very much. I hope that you are finding some enjoyment in whatever your circumstances are. I hope that you got some value out of that reading. If you did, please consider sending me a donation. I really appreciate it. You could also send me a gift deck just like Annette did and get a reading. You could join my Patreon below. You can click like and subscribe. That helps more people see my videos as I push to my first 1,000, because once I get to my first 1,000 subscribers, and I'm not far away, and 4,000 hours of viewing, I can do mobile lives. I can take my phone out and live stream from wherever I'm at, and I really want to do that. I want to show you my town and do stuff. So please subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, and check out my other videos, and I will see you again tomorrow for another gift deck unboxing. And until then, thanks for hanging with me. This is the Zen Witch. Blessed be.